Hi, my name is Carolyn Schwartz, and this is my presentation on the theorists that I chose for this module. The first one I chose was Miss Gloria Ladson. She was born in 1947, and one of the founding principles or reasons that she got into working with multiculturalism in education was because she attended a segregated primary school in Philadelphia. And she recounts that she had a teacher that would break the curriculum intentionally by teaching the students about important historical figures that were not in their textbooks, were not allowed in the curriculum. And they would actually have somebody stand watch outside the classroom. So if they saw the principal or somebody walking by, they would automatically just like open the books to like what they were supposed to be doing. And she said that that was really important for her. And she also recalls that when she was younger, the teachers really didn't censor themselves when it came to issues of race, and preparing them for what they were likely to experience in the neighborhood. Specifically, she was talking about they were going on a field trip and they were told that they had to behave a certain way, um, as to avoid further negative labels. Uh, she said that once she did go to an integrated school later on, that the teachers weren't having some of those critical talks dealing with race and society, whereas her previous teachers in the segregated schools would open the door for it. She received her PhD in 1984. And then, so some of the key points of her theories is that there's three main components of culturally relevant pedagogy. The first centers around the student learning. You have to focus on moral development, intellectual growth, problem solving, and reasoning. And then, in addition to, you also have to address cultural competence. As an instructor, as a teacher, you really have to appreciate where that student's coming from, what culture they're coming from, and also lead them to become fluent in at least one other culture as well, to really help them become best integrated. And then finally, she stresses critical consciousness with the ability to identify and analyze social inequities. So while the student is learning what they're supposed to be learning, doing what they need to do by the curriculum, appreciating their culture and the others around them, they still need to know and understand and be able to analyze the inequalities that they're going to face later on and to be better prepared. So she emphasizes that one culturally relevant activity in the classroom is not representative of the philosophy as a whole, and that it needs to be addressed through the personal outlook and the approach of the teacher and the teaching methods. It isn't a one and done lesson, call it a day. It is something that needs to be integrated into the curriculum every single day. And then it also illustrates the idea of tackling an unfair pyramid of social structure. She thinks that the pyramid in itself is inaccurate and that it's not the right shape because everybody kind of just wants to get to the top tier, and you fight social injustice to get to the top, and that's what we've all kind of learned. She proposes that it should be more circular, to be most optimally inclusive for everybody. The next theorist that I chose to speak about is Dr. Donna Gulnick, and she's actually the author of our textbook that we're currently using. And then she co-authored it in multiple editions, the Multicultural Education in a Pluralistic Society. Currently and formerly, and for many years, she has served as both an author as well as a consultant for multicultural education across the country. She served in a variety of positions, from secondary teacher in Indiana, small town in Indiana, all the way to president, vice president roles of many organizations and associations for education. She has a PhD and is noted as a distinguished alumna of both University of Southern California as well as Purdue. Her theories center around the idea that multicultural education is not implemented via a singular mode. So you can't just have it in a textbook and that's okay. The book says it's okay. It has to be in the textbook. It has to be instructed. It has to be in the supporting materials for the textbook. And I think one of the biggest parts is it has to come through in the teacher's behavior, the teacher's attitude, and the overall school climate. Because you can be fighting an uphill battle if it's just you're the only team member that's really stressing the multicultural education approach. So it really needs to be a big team effort. Another big point that she has in her theories is that students need to develop and sustain a firm, positive self-concept and self-understanding. But in order to do that, they have to practice sensitivity and understanding to other cultural groups. And she places an emphasis on how the material is taught and encouraging educators to recognize their biases. We have a lot naturally, so it can actually take time, and it takes a lot of awareness to be able to do that and to teach through that. We need to recognize the invisibility and microcultures that exist in the school system and the school setting. One example that was brought up was people with disabilities. A lot of times they need to be seen as what they can contribute, what they have contributed, instead of just this invisibility notion. And we also need to end the era, I guess, of glossing over a lot of this. We have glossed over a lot of celebrating and encouraging and recognizing the people who have paved the path of struggles, of inequities, through racial inequalities, through different disabilities. It tends to just get glossed over and real quick. But what she states is that we should really be breaking down those important contributions in the classroom. And finally, it's just my reference page. All right. Thank you for watching.